Good afternoon. We'd like to welcome everybody to the press conference for the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals presented by General Tire. This is the 30th year of competition for the Chili Bowl. Competition will begin tomorrow with hot laps at approximately 4:45 p.m. We'll run all the way through Saturday. Coming into this year, we have a record-breaking 344 entries. It beats out last year's record of 330. We have drivers currently from 34 states and 5 countries. Among those, we have 9 past champions, 54 A-feature starters, 76 Chili Bowl rookies, and we'll find out if we do beat out our driver attendance record, which was set last year at 326 at the close of draw on Friday. One thing we'd like to note, in 2015, the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals was voted amongst the top 5 most popular motorsports destinations in the world in a USA Today Readers poll. The Chili Bowl was the only dirt track in the poll, beating out some of the most prestigious tracks in the world. So it's really quite the honor for Tulsa and quite the honor for the Chili Bowl. Joining us today at the front of the room, we have our defending Lucas Oil Chili Bowl champion for Keith Kunz Motorsports, Mr. Rico Abreu. Also former VIROC winner and 2014 NASCAR Sprint Cup Rookie of the Year, Mr. Kyle Larson. Joining us as well, working track prep for the 2nd year, 2-time Chili Bowl champion and 3-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion, and champion in every other division that's ever been created, Tony Stewart. Also joining us up front is a 5-time Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals champion, Mr. Sammy Swindell. His son, a 4-time Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals champion, and for the first time he enters as a car owner, Mr. Kevin Swindell. And last but not least, the co-founder and promoter of the Chili Bowl Nationals, the Tulsa Shootout, and the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series, Mr. Emmett Hahn. We'd also like to introduce some of our local dignitaries that are in attendance today. We have with us Mr. David Patrick of the Tulsa City Council, former councilman Mr. Skip Steele, the following tables: Executive Director of the Tulsa Sports Commission, Mr. Vince Trinidad, Mr. Mark Andrus, who is the Director of the Tulsa County Fairgrounds, and Ms. Karen Keith of the Tulsa County Commission. Before we go any further, Mr. Trinidad, I believe you have something to say.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for allowing us a chance to go ahead and talk about the impact that the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl has for us. I do apologize for my voice. Get a little bit of the season going on with me, but Emmett, I promise you this: if you want to, I'll sing you my version of Kim Carnes' Betty Davis Eyes later on, if you want to. Once again, good afternoon, everybody. We'd like to go ahead and, on behalf of Ray Hoyt, our regional tourism president, can make it today, but on behalf of him and our regional tourism board and our rest of our partners, we'd like to welcome everybody to the Expo Square, the home of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals for an amazing 30 years. Chili Bowl is known world over for its one-of-a-kind competition between hobby racers and professional drivers. The heart-pumping action on the quarter-mile dirt track is absolutely exhilarating. Tulsans of all ages look forward to these races every year, and we have visitors coming in from 30 other countries to go ahead and take part in this race as well. It's one of the first major events for us in the season, as well as the racing circuit, and it kicks off some really great action for us here in Tulsa. We look forward to annually having the racers and their participants and their families come to Tulsa to go ahead and enjoy us as a community and enjoy the restaurants and the rest of the things that a lot of your racers do. And I remember last year we had some really good input from the racers and some of their crews as well. So I'd like to thank you for doing that on behalf of all our regional tourism partners. We would like to also thank our county elected officials for all the partners and the Expo Square staff, Mark Anderson and the rest of his staff, for just being great partners for us. It does take many partners to go ahead and put together an event like this, from the drivers to Emmett and the rest of the crew, including the staff here in the county. So we'd like to thank everybody for that. For this particular event, it certainly flourishes because of that particular partnership that we have overall. Overall mission is to go ahead and attract amateur events such as this to go ahead and provide economic prosperity for the community, and this event certainly does that, Emmett. And being here for 30 years certainly proves time and time again your commitment to Tulsa and its community over and over again. And we have generations of individuals that have grown up knowing nothing but that this event is here in Tulsa. We look forward to having you and keeping you here for many years in advance. So on behalf of all of us at Regional Tourism, I'm going to go introduce Emmett Hahn, the promoter and owner of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl.
Another thing that we're proud of right here, and I was talking to Mark about it the other day, when we started 30 years ago, I can tell you the air quality is not like it is today. And Shannon, that's been out here for a lot of years, taking care of our air. Jim Carpenter, no retired hazmat fireman that I raced against. Jim's worked very hard on this with the fire marshal. And when they was talking about our air quality out here, they looked in there and the only standards they had was an 8-hour shift at a plant, what your CO level could be. So there's really no standard. So in the last 8 years, these guys has come up with this, and so they was telling me here last week that here within a month or so, that this air quality right here in this building right here will be the standard for indoor racing. So that's another thing that makes Expo Square stand out among the rest of them. I wish I could tell you that Lanny and I was smart when we started this Chili Bowl. What's that old saying? You'd rather be lucky as smart or good. We was just fortunate enough that we survived the early years of this. We had noise levels, we had CO levels, we had every type of problem in the world, and it's kind of funny, when we started 30 years ago, there was sprint car drivers and there was midget drivers. And I mean, there was the midget guys that raced midgets didn't run sprint cars and vice versa. And it took probably 10 or 12 years, and then they started getting a crossover. Now then, they do it all the time. But the sprint car guys, when we started this, we had the World of Outlaw names in here. That's what we thought would draw some people, but it didn't draw them near as quick as we thought they would. And I think this is why 85% of our spectators that's got reserved seats are from out of state, because they knew how big a race and what kind of stars was here. So they came, and it was like a pyramid. One guy would come and see it, and you'd think, well, this is a typical indoor on concrete, and then they come and seen the race. Then they'd bring 2 of their friends, and I think this pyramid's how this thing has grown right here. So as Lanny and I have said many, many times, we wasn't smart enough to make this thing work, and we're going to try to be smart enough not to mess it up. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Before we continue, we'd like to invite Miss Karen Keith.
Well, Emmett Hahn, you are a rock star around here, so thank you so much. We really appreciate what you've done for our community. If you talk to any of the hoteliers in the Tulsa area, they love the Chili Bowl. This is not a time of year when they fill a lot of rooms, and they are so grateful for this event. And to all of you, it's good to see you back, Rico, Kyle. You guys, thank you so much for coming back to our community and taking part in this. So it's the 30th anniversary, so we did a proclamation on your behalf. So whereas the Chili Bowl Nationals was founded and organized in 1987 by Mr. Emmett Hahn and Lanny Edwards, and is the midget racing's answer to the Super Bowl. And whereas the Chili Bowl Nationals is celebrating its 30th annual show at Expo Square's River Spirit Expo on this date, and whereas the Chili Bowl's projected economic impact to the Tulsa area is $14 million, with an attendance of over 15,000 spectators enjoying the trade show, vendors, and of course the racing events. And whereas Lucas Oil, General Tire, and many other sponsors present the Chili Bowl Nationals, and whereas Tulsa County and the Tulsa Public Facilities Authority are once again proud to join these citizens and vendors in demonstrating the popularity and economic vitality of this show at Expo Square. So therefore, in recognition of the impact of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals on the Tulsa regional economy, and in honor of Emmett and Fuzzy Hahn, coupled with the energy and excitement that this show generates, the Board of County Commissioners of Tulsa County, Oklahoma, proclaims Tuesday, January 12th as Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals Day. So thank you so much to all of you.
One thing we'd like to point out on the coverage of this year's Chili Bowl Nationals, it will be provided again online pay-per-view by Racinboys.com. And also for the second year in a row, we will be live on Saturday night on MAV TV Motorsports Network. And joining that coverage this year will be the launch of LucasOilRacing.tv, an all-racing video on-demand website that also offers video streaming of the Chili Bowl Nationals, as well as year-round coverage of the Lucas Oil Motorsports and their empire, including the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series presented by the MAV TV Motorsports Network. Without further ado, we'd like to open it up for questions for our drivers and owners.
Rico talking about coming back to the champion this year, but
Not really. I don't think.
to hold it for him too.
I don't think. It's not so hard on me just because I get to race a lot, and it's, I just look at it as another race. You got to enjoy all these moments because you might not be the champion again, and so it's just cool. It's just cool to soak it all in.
What can this race, winning this race, do for you, winning it last year? How can it propel you?
I don't know. I think it's probably the biggest race in open wheel racing. It's one of the best, and with the best competition from NASCAR to IndyCar to stock car racing, just in general, and sprint car racing and midget racing. If you beat them here, you beat them all, and that's what's huge about this event. And I think it's not too many people have won it, so it's just really cool to be on this list.
Rico, you got a couple truck wins at the end of the year. Talk about that a little bit, and it looks like maybe better things for you in the future in that department.
No, the end of the year was great. I got to run Phoenix and Homestead. Still working on finalizing a bunch of stuff this year, and don't really have anything, set in stone. But I'll let you guys all know when it comes down to it.
Kevin, can you talk about the difference of being an owner slash
I mean, it's not fun. You definitely want to race after being on the podium. That's still 6 years in a row. It's tough to just not even be able to get in a car, but fun to be a part of this. However you can be, and I definitely wanted to do everything I could to be as involved as I could, and I was hoping I healed enough to maybe jump in, but that didn't happen quick enough. So just trying to enjoy it, and maybe make somebody else get up there. If I can win as an owner, at least, would be fun. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what heals. I've got a lot back, but I haven't got enough back yet to do it properly. So I mean, we've got the hand control stuff in my car over there right now, and just probably wouldn't be very good on my back yet if I jumped in and tried to race now. But we'll see where I'm at. Come a few months from now, and if I got to do it with my hands, I'll try like hell to do it with my hands.
Well, it hasn't been very long, so it's just something they put together and got here with. It's different for all of us, and it's a lot different for me. Not being able to work with him on our car, so glad he could do it, and hope he has a good time.
This question's for all you guys. How you make goals for winning as well. But talk about how luck plays into this event. Getting through your qualifying night, at least unscathed if you don't win. But how much does luck play in this event in getting to Saturday night?
I used to think watching this race, 80% of it was luck, but then you get to run it and you make a lot of your own luck. It seems there's about the same field of cars in the feature every year, so they're not all getting lucky each year. Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes some sort of luck. Last year in my heat race on my prelim night, a guy spun out in front of me and I had nowhere to go, and had to dig out of the C main, and had I not made it out of the C main, I would have just said I had a lot of bad luck. So I was able to make it up and win my prelim feature that night, and turned it around for myself. But Everything you do takes some sort of luck, but I would say this race takes much more than any other one.
Kevin, the fans, after your accident, man, it was pretty, I'm sure, overwhelming to how many people reached out to you. I know a lot of tracks, they took, people passed it home and around. Just talk about that, what it meant to you, all the fans afterwards in this accident.
It's huge. I mean, this whole, community really is one big family. They always say it, but until something like this happens, you don't really see it. And it was amazing, the outpour of everything and stuff that's still happening, to this day. And what the therapy and stuff that I got to go through, and the amount of it that I got to go through, it's going to take ungodly amounts of hospital bills. So everything's been a huge help, and hopefully I'll be walking around in here next year.
Are you doing anything about maybe changing something that in the car that would help from that accident and your injury, or are you looking into trying to make something better in that area?
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at a lot of stuff. Obviously it's, over the years they've worked a lot on not breaking our neck, and nobody really looked at breaking the bottom of your back, and it's just, that was one of the softest crashes of my entire career. It just landed right, and it's kind of a freak deal, and, obviously it hasn't happened you haven't seen it happen really at all, and, but it's something that we're looking into really hard to try to eliminate and make sure nobody else has to go through this.
Quick question for you, Tony. And all the hats you've worn in this building, from owner to driver, even as spectator now, working the track last year and coming back to do it this year, is there anything that you took away coming into this year that maybe you didn't realize about this event, or things to do different this year?
I think, I've got a track, I've got a series now, I've got teams, and I'm still a driver, so I get to see it from a lot of different angles, but I don't think people really realize how much it takes to put this event on, and how much that Emmett and Lanny and everybody, it is such a huge work in progress to make these 2 weeks with the shootout and the Chili Bowl happen. So, it's everybody's got their roles they play, and I kind of backed away from some of my dirt racing, so coming and helping doing the track, and it's the same, the guys I'm working with this year, the same 3 guys I worked with last year, and it's just part of the process. Shootout week, they were talking about, they were starting at 9 in the morning and finishing at 12 o'clock at night, and had 1,000 heat races to run. So it's a lot to get done in a day, and I got my real good taste of it last year after about the 6th heat on Tuesday, and the guy on the end comes storming across the infield, and so it's a pressure-packed week. It is for the drivers, it is for the owners, but it is for everybody that works here. I mean, it takes everybody to make this show run very smooth, and don't let Emmett fool you. He says he's not very smart, but you don't build an event like this and have it run for 30 years by not being smart and good at what you do. So they've done a great job, and it's it's fun to be a part of it, and even though it's a different capacity than what I'm used to doing, it's these guys race 2 nights out of the week, and I've got to be on for 6 nights of the week doing it right, or else Emmett comes down and yells at me. So I just want to keep my job this week.
Something that people don't realize is 2 weeks ago we had the shootout. Local people know how wet a spring and fall that we had here. The clay came in way, way wetter than it ever has. And luckily we was running the little micros, and it didn't destroy the racetrack, but it wasn't good at the shootout. So after that was over, that Sunday we went in and took the corners out of this racetrack, 200 loads, and spread it in the infield, had them turn the heat on where we could dry it out. And then Thursday put that clay back in there, and then just build another racetrack since Thursday. So them guys have done a lot of work.
He forgot to tell me that till I got here.
Yeah.
Tony, what is it about this race? This race in Tulsa that just brings you back even up?
Well, it's like was said earlier. I mean, it is the dirt track race of the year. I mean, I don't care what series, what track. I mean, this is the place to be. So it's the only time all year you're going to get this many quality cars and drivers and teams to come to one event and race. And You know, you don't see 300. You don't see 300 of any race cars anywhere other than here each year. It doesn't exist. So to do it and do it in a special facility like this, and it's just you know, it's hard to say. It's hard to put it into words. But I mean, this is just one of those. If you said you could only go to 1 week out of the year, you could go to a race. Where would you go? This is where most people would pick. So it's just a cool deal. I mean, it's about the 1 week that all of our buddies that we see throughout the year, we're all in the same place at the same time. So you know, it's a special opportunity for us to not only run a race that we like, but at the same time, it's I think we have just as much fun in the evenings after we're done around here. So it's just a special event.
When I spoke with some of the people on the track, they told me about some of the memorable moments you've had that you managed to create. More than once, I've heard, man, I always tell you to come back to this. So I guess I want to ask you, have you thought about it? Are you considering it? And could you share just at least one experience that you can go back to and like that kind of helped me throughout my career?
Oh, it's, you know, the first time I won the Chili Bowl here, that really, I mean, it was in 2007, and we'd already won the Triple Crown, and you know, had won an IndyCar championship by then. But winning the Chili Bowl, a one race event, was bigger than winning the IndyCar championship to me. It was much harder to win the Chili Bowl. So you know, and you know, that's a trophy that everybody wants, this trophy from here, and so you know, it's just a special deal. But it, you know, I don't know. I guess we'll see after the weekend. If he fires me after the weekend, I'll for sure be able to drive then. But
he's on probation.
It's not the first time I've been on probation. Normally it's a different sanctioning body than here, but it's not the first time. So I don't know. I mean, I plan on running a lot of dirt races after the end of the season when I retire from the Cup stuff. So I would say this is on the radar again.
Emmett, can you talk about this 30 years? What does it mean to you to have these guys here 30 years later compared to 1987 when you guys weren't sure what you had, and even in those early years? You know, what does it mean to you to see this event come to like that?
1987, we knew what we had, a loser. No, it's come a long ways. And again, people ask me all the time, did you ever imagine this thing to grow to this caliber? And there's nobody in this room that could even dream that a race could come out like this. But it goes back to this area right here is centrally located pretty much for population in the United States. Not going to get rained or snowed out. Time of year, not another building like this in the world. And Emma's just lucky, and I appreciate these guys.
Rico Cup. Let me ask you, you know, we always talk about there's a lot of gray-haired guys sitting up in the grandstands now, and what we've got to do to get younger people up in the grandstands. You kind of represent the young crowd, and what do you think that we could do in our industry to make more young people? I think we got plenty of young guys that want to drive, but young people that want to sit up in the grandstands and watch you guys drive. Do you have any suggestions of what we could do to get the young people more involved in our sport?
I really think Chili Bowl's doing everything, or a lot of it, that it takes to get younger kids into it. You know, it's on live TV on Saturday night. That's a big part of what I think makes a lot of sports where they're at now, where we've kind of lost that with sprint car, midget racing, and to get those bigger brands in would help get to the younger crowd. So events like the Chili Bowl, I think, helps get those bigger brands to come on board, and that just helps open up younger millennials' eyes to our type of racing. So I don't know. It's I just, as a driver, I don't really know what it takes. Emmett's a whole lot smarter than the rest of us here. So
Do you notice younger people coming up to you though now, more maybe?
So this weekend I was just at the Roar for the Daytona test, and what I thought was really cool on Saturday was they had the Boy Scouts come, and so there's hundreds of tents, thousands of kids walking through the garage area, and that was just, I thought it was cool to, you know, it was just a small way to get, you know, some kids to come see race cars go down a racetrack. Even though it's a test, you know, they don't really know. So I don't know, just something to get younger kids there. It's hard.
Do you have any suggestions?
I just think that just building events around events and driving the youth to there. I've spent some time in Australia the last few years, and they have, sounds funny, but they have a carnival, and during the races, something for the kids to do, and if they were to get bored. But I think, and then just telling friends, telling people. I had 2 friends come last year, and now 8 of them are coming this year. So it's just with the publicity and the media is out there. I think it's more than capable of doing. It's just doing it the right way.
Kids gravitate towards you. Obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Kids feel comfortable coming up to me. I don't know.
Get some more seats.
But I think just because of my stature and I'm more their size, but look growing up, it's intriguing to them, and so that helps as well. I think something for them to come see, and then they get to watch me race on the track, which is really cool for them.
Tony, the state of dirt track racing, owner, driver, track owner, where are we at right now, the state of dirt track racing? I think we all realize that we've all got to work a little bit more together to maybe pick it up a little bit, but what would you say that the state of the economy of dirt track racing and what we can do to improve it just a little bit?
I was pretty encouraged last year, actually. I mean, I went to Knoxville, I went to Williamsboro, went to a lot of dirt events last year, and talking to different track owners and promoters. I mean, attendance was up, crowds were up, their car counts for their bigger events were up. So I feel like it's starting to gain momentum again. I mean, the economy hurt everything for a long time, and I think we're just now seeing where it's starting to hopefully come out of it on the short track side. So, our track at Eldora had a great year last year. I thought we had a good first year with the series with the All-Stars last year, and I feel like there's a lot of good things on the horizon for short track racing. There's great facilities, there's great promoters and great series sanctioning bodies that, like Rico said, I mean, they're thinking outside the box now and starting to figure out, how to take a race weekend and do more than just host a race, and how to make it an event, how to make it, the entertainment side is so competitive right now. I mean, you're literally in talking about bringing kids to the track. The first thing you do is take their cell phones away from them, because they don't have to do anything. They don't have to go anywhere. They can sit in their room, don't have to move, and can be entertained all night. But there's a lot of good stuff out there. You just gotta know where to go, and that's the problem with getting new people to the racetrack. So, a lot of these promoters building bigger events around a race, that's starting to show results, and I feel like the crowds are getting better because of it.
5-year deal too now with the truck race. You like that, I'm sure.
I like that a lot better than going year to year. So that's an event that we like to host. It's not our biggest event of the year, but I think it's important to the short track industry and the dirt industry, because people that follow NASCAR racing and don't know anything about dirt racing get to see what a dirt race is about once a year. So we're proud of that.
Sammy, how much different is the competition now at the Chili Bowl compared to 15 years ago?
Just more cars, more drives. I think the ratio's still the same. It's just, or maybe it's not exactly the same, but it's really not much different. You just have more people, more cars. I mean, now you got to be on your toes a little bit more, play a little more defense than you used to, but that's about it.
Sammy, are you still driven as much as a race car driver now as you've ever been?
Well, if I wasn't, I wouldn't be here. That's an easier way to put it. But if I don't have that, it's, if you don't have that passion, how can you do it? And I think I'm in better shape, and I'm healthier than I've been in a while, so I'm more motivated. Part of it's because I know I don't know when that end's coming. So I'm great right now. Happy to be here. Grateful to be here. Grateful to be competitive.
Kyle, do you have much of an adjustment jumping, like you said, just from testing into a small midget like this to get out there and compete?
No, it's more of an adjustment going into prototype car more than anything, because I've done this for a while now, where I've only done the prototype car, once each of the last 3 years, and it's a pretty difficult car to drive just because it's so twitchy and the tires are just a lot different than what I'm used to. So jumping into this, though, it's I don't know. You take a quick second to think about what car you're in. That's about it, and you kind of get the hang of it pretty quickly.
Did that help you out there at Yuma a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely think going to Yuma to run a sprint car for a few nights helps when I come here. Back when I was going to New Zealand and running 5 or 6 nights in a midget, that really helped, I thought. But yeah, getting some dirt experience before the Chili Bowl definitely helps.
Tony's got about 3 more hot lap sessions, and he needs to go to work.
He's gonna get fired.
Fired at the media session, that's big.
That's it, yeah.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, and local media as always. We have an open door policy. Just check in with our office and you'll be able to come in, talk with the drivers, and get footage of anything, just about anything you need. A couple of drivers will be available throughout the day, so you can try to go down to the pits, try to organize interviews with them. But thank you all very much. If you need anything else, if you need more information, the website is chilibowl.com. Also, we'll be posting information throughout the week to our Facebook and Twitter feeds. Thank you all very much for coming.